Hi everybody, this is Brianna Naessens, and I'm going to be presenting you Formats for Reporting, which is in Chapter 10 in Sagor on page 184 through 186. Okay, so this chapter really, or this little section, talked about ways that research can be presented, and we all know that it really goes from formal to extremely informal depending on what you really want. A couple of the examples given in the book were that, it can be shared in a teacher's lounge around a table. There's videos, journals. You can go to a convention and present it. There's posters, handouts, and there's really long reports that can tell us all about what action research happened. But, it really depends on the need of the audience and what kind of research is being presented overall. Sagor was quoted saying, "There is a general flow and sequence that ensures that attendees will benefit from what was presented." And he suggests on page 184 that there are 4 basic stages that an action research presentation should follow, and also is outlined in the order of our book. The first one would be clarifying your vision and targets. The second one would be articulating theories of action. The third one is implementing action and collecting data. And the fourth is reflecting on data and planning informed action. So to tell your story, you should first know your audience. It lets you choose how you're going to present your findings. You should remember why your audience is interested in what you have to say in the first place. You should give them background information that includes your research setting, purpose of research, and how you want to tackle the issue at hand. It's important for them to be reminded of why they are taking time to listen to you. Then you can tell your audience what you did to study your target and follow it with what data you collected and why the data is valuable to you and them. You can finish your presentation by telling your audience what you learned from the action research process and what you intend to do with your findings, whether it's just, you're finished there or you're going to move it further into research. Okay, this is on Sagor page 185, and it's a table that shows you, can kind of help you figure out what you want to share with your audience. It leads you through the stage or process you're going to be in throughout your action research and the documents or events that you might incur during this time period, and really lets you kind of brainstorm what you really want to share. And yet again, this is all dependent on who your audience is and what you really want to share out of all of this, but I think it's a really great idea to get your thoughts together before you make a formal presentation. And here Sagor gives us a table on how to share. Now on the last slide, you saw that we decided on what we wanted to share, but now we can kind of brainstorm on, the detail we need. Do we really need to summarize it, or does it really need to be specific? And how are we going to share it with the people that we're presenting this to? Are we going to give them a handout? Or are we going to show them a whole bunch of graphs? Or are we going to give them displays? Or is it purely just going to be a discussion forum where, we just talk about what we did and there's not really a formal presentation? This is a pretty neat way to gather all your thoughts again before you decide what you want to show everybody. And this was probably the most interesting thing I saw, which was a checklist, which really helped me in my action research planning. This lets you move through all the stages of your action research and decide, exactly, you can detail what happened at each step, and then you can really decide, is this important for me to talk about, or can I just leave it out? Now, if you're writing a report, maybe you write the whole thing out just because, for the sake of turning it in. Or if you're presenting it orally, maybe you should just cut some of it down so you don't lose interest. Again, all about your audience, so it really depends on what you decide. Okay, now I know that was pretty short, but I have a few discussion questions for you. The first one would be, which of the 4 steps towards detailing your action research do you think is the most difficult and why? And 2, if you have presented action research before, how did you do so, and what would you change or do differently? If you haven't, which approach would you like to take? Again, thanks so much for watching my presentation, and I hope you guys have a great end of the semester. Bye!